Here we are at the Burke Art Gallery in Smith Hall. We are going to be looking at the exhibition Trace Elements. This is a two-person show with work by Matthew Kolodje and Monica Meller. Close-up view. Matthew's paintings, highly textured. Take a slow pan. You can see here that Matthew is making marks that are incredibly layered. Here we have a grid of works by Monica Meller. Monica is an artist who works primarily with printmaking processes. And I think that one of the things that's really beautiful about her work is when you get up close and you can see the marks that are impressed on the paper. Set of 4 prints have images that are related to one another, and yet they're executed in different ways. It's interesting to notice what gets repeated and how she's making variations. They're on paper, but because of the layering, there's a kind of a density that happens. The prints have a kind of velvety density. Okay, now we are moving into a small section of the gallery with several of Matthew's paintings. You're going to get a chance today to hear Matthew talking a little bit about his work and his process, and the paintings at first glance seem to be abstract, and they are, but as you'll hear, they're based on life and from stuff from the world. But they're a really good example of what happens when you draw from experience and then respond to what you're seeing rather than merely recording. Look at the surfaces of Matthew's work. You can even see bumps from the canvas sometimes. Okay. Now moving around the corner here, we have some more of Monica's prints. You can see the deckled edge of this beautiful, delicate paper. Both Matthew and Monica's work, it's so layered. It's wonderful to get lost in. Monica will talk a little bit about the cutouts later, so just remember. Throughout this body of work, Monica is using symbols repeated throughout the work that um, have personal significance, and at the same time uh, can suggest things to the viewer. They also just become these shapes and through repetition patterns. Again, looking at the surface and the way that the layering of the ink builds up into a pattern that really is about that intersection of the different layers. It's interesting to notice what is opaque and what is transparent. Looking up close, there are so many lyrical surprises that happen in terms of color and line and texture. Both Matthew and Monica are creating these worlds with their materials. looking really closely, like, look at that. The paint is so thick there. But it doesn't feel like a mistake, it just feels like part of it.